Welcome to OnePlace at KPL's presentation on appeal letters. In this web tutorial, we'll be discussing the best practices for creating donor appeal letters. Pause the video at any time to make note of what's on the screen. Let's get started. Before we get into the details of what to include in your letter, let's look at how we can format it so it looks as personable and readable as possible. This means your letter should not include an address block. You should indent each paragraph as you would in a personal letter. Signing each letter by hand using blue ink gives it a personal touch. Keep the letter to less than a page. Your donors are busy and are likely not going to read anything much longer than 3/4 of a page. Use 3 to 5 paragraphs and keep the paragraphs to no more than 5 lines long. Draw attention to 3 to 5 main points and questions by putting them in bold. If a donor skims your letter, these bolded statements will be what they read. And always include a PS at the end of your letter where you restate the main points of the letter. Now let's get into the content of your appeal letter. When writing your appeal, keep in mind that donors give to solve problems. More specifically, they give to organizations that effectively communicate this problem to them. People relate to and remember stories in much greater detail than simply stating the programs and services your nonprofit offers. Every nonprofit organization has a story to tell. Find a point of pain in the community that your nonprofit is attempting to address and tell a story about it. If possible, have the person the story is about write the story. Let the letter be from their first-hand experience. The majority of donors act on emotion, not rationality. Because of this, you should refrain from filling your letter with stats or other numbers and keep the data for your annual report or other publications. In your letter, don't be afraid to let the donor feel the pain you know exists in the community, and then tell them how they can solve the problem. Remember, people give to people and naturally want to understand and help solve their problem. When writing the salutation for your letter, use your donor's name. If you feel comfortable enough, it's okay to use their first names. When writing your appeal letter, remember that you, your staff, and board members all know a great deal about your organization and already care deeply for it. This letter is not about you. It's about how your donor can help. Use the word you more than you think you should. You should be used at least 3 times as often as you reference your own organization. It's okay to use incomplete sentences, ellipses, and non-technically correct punctuation. This will help your letter come across as personable. To help the donor connect with the story you are telling, it's best to include photos with your letter. Show a person in your photos, even if your cause is not necessarily about people. People connect with people and are more likely to give if you show a person. When selecting photos to use for your letter, remember that sad photos generate more donations, but you should use the images that best fit the story you are telling your donors. Photos that show your organization's successes should be kept for your thank you letter or upcoming newsletter. Your donor will donate to solve a problem, but if the problem seems to be solved already, they will likely not see a reason to give. Remember, the point of the appeal is to get a donation. Ask for the donation multiple times throughout your letter. You want the donor to remember to give. Your letter should present the donor with just one reason to give. Using more than one will dilute your message and donors will be less likely to give. Keep the letter simple and to the point. If your appeal seems too emotional, too simplistic, and too repetitive, you are probably on the right track. And that's it for the Appeal Letters tutorial. We hope that you now have a basic understanding of how to best write your donor appeal letter. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the OnePlace staff at oneplace@kpl.gov.